Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, August 28, 2019. As you can see, I am outside. It is quite sunny, quite bright, so I have a hard time seeing the camera and what the video looks like. So I'm just going to wing it and go with it. Today I wanted to do a quick video about yoga. My last video was about enlightenment, and I don't think anyone really watched it, which is fine because these videos are for myself to look back on and remind myself what's the point and why are we here. That's why the log on is Rector Arundel, whose thoughts are these? So whose thoughts are these? These thoughts are the ego. The ego is the body, which is including the mind, and its connection to this physical universe, which is basically the Prakirti. And we are the Purusa, right? We are the infinite soul that dwells within the body. So all these thoughts are from the mind. All these thoughts are side effects of the body and its experiences here on this earth, not only presently, but passed down from the past. That includes family ties, all the conditioning that you've had in this lifestyle, and what country you're born in, and also what family you're born into, etc. So anyway, yoga. What is yoga? Yoga is a Sanskrit word, and it means union. And when they speak of union, they mean exactly what I talked about in the last video. Union between the soul and God. Now, it's very interesting, but depending on which source you look at, the Purusa could be your soul or God. And it kind of gets a little bit hard to distinguish because ultimately the yogis believe, / the Hindus believe, that your soul is basically created in God's image, meaning we are God's children, which means accordingly, over time, over evolution, we could become like God. But of course, they don't really believe that that's our purpose. Our goal is to always serve God in every moment. But ultimately, once you become enlightened and evolve enough, you have the power of God to create your reality, everything you want can basically be yours. But the way to attain that is being selfless. We could go into a whole video about that. But one of the main ways to achieve enlightenment is to give every single action you do to God. Sacrifice, essentially. Sacrifice your achievements to God, sacrifice your pain to God every time you eat. That's why prayer before eating was first brought about. It wasn't because Christianity said thank God for what you have to eat. It's because, Hinduism was way, way before Christianity, and they believe that you should thank God for the food that you're about to consume. It's basically called prasadam. I may not be pronouncing that correctly, so forgive me, I'm sorry. I try to pronounce Sanskrit the best that I can. I use, I can't think of the exact terms, but I use the best phonographical knowledge that I know to use terms properly. But we're all subject to errors. So anyway, prasadam is what you offer to God for food, and then you can consume it after you sacrifice it for God. So essentially, a shortcut, a cheat, is sacrificing everything to God. You take no pleasure in life, you take no pain in life. Everything that happens is a result of God's will. So anything that you achieve is because God wanted it. Anything that you do poorly is because God willed it. And you offer all fruits of your actions to God. This is a very, very common belief in the Hare Krishna. People call it Hare Krishna because they don't know how to say Sanskrit, but it's Hare Krishna. And essentially, I really like the Bhagavad Gita, or the Bhagavad Gita, because it is basically a Hare Krishna text, at least Bhagavad Gita as it is, which is a really great text. I encourage everyone to read it. In that book, they talk about exactly what we're talking about, Prakirti, or Prakriti, and the Purusa, or the Atma, or the Paramatma. And we're still talking about the same thing. We're talking about the soul and God. The soul is the Purusa, or Atma. Again, pronunciation may not be correct, so I apologize, but the context is what matters, not the pronunciation. And God is the Paramatma. I need to look at the text again to make sure I'm not saying that incorrectly. But basically, the Hare Krishna people, Bhagavad Gita as it is, they believe that God lives in every single being. When I say being, because people talk about being human, and human is just one existence. You have a consciousness that comes with the body. You experience reality as this human with your consciousness that comes with the body. So a dog has a consciousness that comes with a dog body, and they are the same Purusa, they're the same soul, they're the same Atma. And they also have in their heart God, which is the Para-Atma, or the Paramatma. Again, I need to look at the book because I forgot if there's an extra M in there. But the point is, they believe that we are infinite, and God is infinite, and we are God's children, and that's what is meant by we are basically God's children, or in the same image of God. The same likeness of God is a better translation, because we are energy, we are infinite consciousness, we are that type of energy. Consciousness has become what you call a button word. So has enlightenment, so has awareness. All these words drive me nuts because they mean basically very, very big ideas, but they become so popular that they've become mudded down and almost... Awareness. Awareness is a word that means so much, but people use it in so many ways that it's almost not as useful as it used to be. But awareness means in every moment what is going on. Not just can you be quiet, can you stop thinking, but what are you reacting to? It goes back to the last video. What are you expending energy on? That comes down to the key. Yes, you feel, which is great, but are you wasting energy on those feelings, or are you keeping them inside? So let's go back to the main point of this video, yoga. Yoga is union. And again, it means union with God, with the Paramatma, or with the Purusa. Basically, you forget your ego, the mind, which comes with this body, and you become one with God. Meaning not you are God, but you are connected with that source. And you can hear the source talking to you, giving you ideas, giving you thoughts, giving you feelings. Obviously I haven't experienced this yet completely, but the point is there that you are enlightened. So there are several reasons why yoga was created. So that's why I really wanted to make this video. Yoga is union with God, and they discovered a long time ago that certain things make you closer to God and certain things don't. And we can talk about foods, and we can talk about practices. But essentially, these rules that Christianity and other religions have adopted have all come from these rules are basically, I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. All these rules come from the ideas of what yoga is founded on. What makes it easier to connect with God, and what makes it harder. So again, here are some basic guidelines. I'm not going to use the Sanskrit words right now because I don't remember all of them perfectly, and I don't want to sound like a complete uneducated buffoon. So number one, sacrifice. You can sacrifice your well-being for others. Man, I really do want to use a word for this one. So let me think of it for a second. But essentially, if you experience pain, if you experience anguish, you've experienced discomfort, you can accept it. You can become, I don't want to say become one with it, but you can become comfortable with it. You can learn to handle it, keep it in, and that is the best type of devotion to God. That is the best sacrifice. That is the best way to show God that you are in it for the long haul. You mean what you're saying. You're not just here to lie about it and get the shortcut. When the word comes to me, I will say it. There are other things as well. A lot of people talk about meditation. Meditation, Sadhguru says, meditation is not the way to enlightenment. That meditation is a byproduct of the path to enlightenment. And, for a long time I didn't know what he meant by that until I started doing research, started reading a lot, started living the path. And the fact of the matter is, once you start following the yoga path, the 8 limbs of yoga, meditation is a byproduct of the 8 limbs of yoga. Once you start living truth, once you stop stealing, once you stop taking from the world, meaning you're selfish, once you start being selfless, certain things like mindfulness, awareness, becoming present, becoming less scatterbrained, all those are byproducts of the 8 limbs of yoga. So meditation is not sitting in silence and not moving, which, is great, but it comes naturally once you follow the other 8 limbs. So can you force yourself to sit quietly? Yes, but it's kind of like forcing yourself to do a marathon when you don't run. You're not ready for that yet. When you are ready, it comes naturally. When you're ready for a marathon, you'll know, hey, I want to do a marathon. So when you're ready to meditate, you will naturally be meditative, which means you'll be thinking less, you'll be more in the present moment, you'll be more concentrated on one thought at a time. So there are a few ways to achieve this, and eating certain foods is one way. Eating less meat, eating less dairy, eating more fruit, specifically fruit. That's why breatharianism is so popular, or so wonderful, I should say. Not necessarily popular yet, but eating fruit, which is high in positive energy. Fruit juice is even better because your digestive system has a role in this as well. The less solid you eat, the faster your digestive system can handle everything, and the more you're reliant on prana directly from the air and from God and from all your senses and from your chakras, all the above. But essentially, what we're talking about is how to become more meditative overall. One of the biggest things which I struggle with is, and this is embarrassing, but it's true, it's sexuality. The most difficult thing for humans to do is control your sexuality. I don't want to say the Hindu word or the Sanskrit word, but I'm going to, and it's going to sound wrong, and I apologize. I know it's wrong. It's Brahmacharyanism or Brahmacharyanism. Anyway, it's again, it's a Sanskrit word. It has to do with retaining your semen or retaining your sexuality as much as possible. Now, again, it's not about never having sex again or never orgasming again. It's about self-control. It's about retaining as much as possible. And this goes back to what my little brother said as well. He said that you should never orgasm because you are expressing or expelling energy out into the universe, and you want to retain as much energy as possible. And that's basically what the Hindus believe as well. Move as little as possible, think as little as possible, and expel as little as possible. So you should not orgasm unless you want to. I should say you should not orgasm if you can avoid it, because it takes a lot of energy to make semen, and then it all goes away. So this video is not meant to be all-inclusive, and this is everything there is to it, but essentially a few basic concepts about yoga. Yoga is union with God, union with the creator of the universe, with the soul. And it goes back to my last video, which is retaining energy. Move as little as possible, think as little as possible, and give as little as possible out. But some of those steps can't come instantly. You can't tell yourself, I'll never think again, and just be done thinking and be in the moment all the time. You have to slowly build yourself up to it. And I have found personally that retaining your seed or not ejaculating does help you to stay focused on the goal and to be single-mindedness, or to be single-thoughted, which means you can concentrate better. And that is the name of the game with meditation. Meditation is focusing wholeheartedly with your entire being, every cell, every thought, every instant, on one thing. And perhaps I'll do another video on meditation later, once I have actually figured it out, because again, meditation is not actually possible unless you have followed the 8 limbs of yoga to a point, which again means truthfulness. Once you become truthful in your life, you never lie about anything, the things that you say start becoming true automatically. Once you retain your semen and hold back your orgasms, you start affecting your world more. And it has to do with the term Kundalini, which maybe I'll do another video about that. But the more energy you have, the more you can affect your universe. The more presence you have, the more charisma, that's another word for it. You affect those around you simply by being you. And over time, you become more present, and therefore you are more you. And the more you are, the more you affect your universe around you, and the more the universe around you becomes you, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I don't want to make this video too long, but this is a basic, brief introduction to the 8 limbs of yoga. I haven't gone through all of them yet. If you want to know all of them, let me know. This is in that book that I recommended to you. What was it called? It was in my last video. Darn, I don't have it in front of me right now, so I don't want to embarrass myself by saying the wrong word or the wrong book. But essentially, it's the 8 limbs of yoga by Patanjali, and it's really, really great. It's not for everybody, because there is no correct path. Every path leads to enlightenment. We are all going to be enlightened. It's just a matter of when and how quickly. And if it's not speaking to you, that's not because I'm wrong. It's not because you're wrong. It's because it's not the right time for you to hear this information, or maybe I'm interpreting it incorrectly. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that we're on the path to enlightenment, and that is the ultimate goal for humanity at this time. So I think I'm kind of beyond education and now babbling, so I'm going to let you go. But thanks for listening. Once again, meditation is not necessarily what you should be doing right now. Meditation is the Buddhist path, which might be great, but meditation is a byproduct of following the 8 limbs of yoga. And I can happily go over all 8 limbs. If you want to, let me know. But that's another video. Once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. If not, tell me how to improve it and help you to learn something. Have a wonderful day. I'm out here in the sunshine and loving it. And take care. Thank you so much.